Hello and welcome back to our performance of Love's Lost. Oh, and have hydrated and done all you need to do. We are now returning to Act 4, Scene 1, the same location as before. Enter the princess and her train, a forester, Boye, Rosalie, Maria, and Catherine.
Was that the king that spread his horse so hard, like the steep uprising of the hill?
I know not, but I think it was not he.
Goeie avond, Sachel. I'm not in mind. Well, lords, today we shall have our dispatch. On Saturday we will return to France. Then, Forster, my friend, where's the bush that we must stand and put the murderer in?
Hereby, upon the edge of yonder coppice, a stand where you may make the fairest shoot.
I thank my beauty. I am fair that shoot. And thereupon thou speakest the fairest shoot.
Pardon me, madam, for I meant not so.
What? What? First praise me and again say no? No short-lived pride, not fair. Alack! Oh woe!
Yes, madam, fair.
Nay, never pay to me now. Where fair is not, praise cannot mend the brow. Here, good my glass. Drink this for telling true. Thy payment for 5 souls is more than due.
Nothing but fair is that which you inherit.
See, see, my beauty will be saved by merit. Oh, heresy and fair, fit for these days. The giving hand though foul shall never fair praise. But come the bow, and mercy goes the kill. Shooting well is then accounted ill. As will I say if I could in shoot not wounding pity would not let me boot. If wounding then it was to show my skill, that more for praise and purpose meant to kill. And out of question, so it is sometimes, glory goes guilty of detested crimes, and for fame's sake for praise now would part. He bent to that working of the heart. As I praise, alone I will seek still, the border's blood, that my heart means no ill.
Do not curse wives hold that self-sovereignty only for praise sake, when they strive to be lords or the lords.
And if of praise, and praise he may afford to any lady that subdues the law.
Here comes a member of the Commonwealth.
Costard enters.
Good dig you, Denol. Pray you, which is the head lady?
Thou shalt know her, fellow, the rest that have no heads.
Which is the greatest lady, the highest,
Thickest and the tallest.
the thickest, and the tallest? It is so. Truth is truth. And your waist, mistress, were slender as my wit. One of these maid's girdles for your waist should be fit. Are you not the chief woman? You are the thickest here.
What's your will, sir? What's your will?
I have a letter from Monsieur Byron to one Lady Rosaline.
Oh, thy letter, thy letter. It's a good friend of mine. And the sign good better. Oh yeah? Then Carl, pick up this couple.
I am
Yeah.
bound to serve. This letter is mistook. Its importance none here. It is read to Jaconetta.
We will read it, I swear. Break the neck of the wax, and everyone give ear.
He reads.
By heavens that thou art fair is most infallible. True that thou art beauteous, truth itself that thou art lovely. More fair than fair, beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself. Have commiseration on thy heroical fazal. The magnanimous and most illustrious King Cophetua set eye upon the pernicious and indubitable beggar Xenophon, and it was that might rightly say Vini Vidi Vici, which, to anatomize in the vulgar, or base and obscure vulgar. The vigilant he came, saw, and overcame. He uh, he came. One saw, two overcame, three. Who came? The king? Why did he come? To see, why did he see? To overcome, to whom he came he? Z- to the beggar. What saw he? The beggar? Who overcame he is a beggar. The conclusion is victory. On whose side? The king's, the captive is enriched on whose side? The beggars? The catastrophe is a nuptial. On whose side? The king's? No. On both in one or one in both. I am the king, for so stands the comparison. Thou the beggar, for so witnesseth thy lowliness. Shall I command thy love? I may. Shall I enforce thy love? I could. Shall I entreat thy love? I will. What shalt thou exchange for rags? Robes? For titles? Titles. For thyself. Me, thus expecting thy reply, I profane my lips on thy foot, my eyes on thy picture, and my heart on thy every part. As thine in the dearest design of industry, Don Ediano del Amado. Thus dost thou hear the Nemean lion roar gainst thee, thou lamb, that standest as his prey, submissive for his princely feet before. And he from forehead will incline to play, but if thou strive, poor soul, what art thou then? Food for his rage, but pasture for his den. Ugh.
What plume of feathers is he that indited this letter? What vein? What weathercock? You ever hear better?
I am much deceived, but I remember the style.
Your memory is bad, going over it a while.
This Armando is a Spaniard that keeps here on court, a fantasime, a monarcho, and one that makes sport to the prince and his bookmates.
Fellow, a word. Who gave thee this letter?
I told you, my lord.
Whom wouldst thou? Whom shouldst thou give it?
From my lord to my lady.
From which lord to which lady?
From my lord Byron, a good master of mine, to a lady of France that he called Rosaline.
I was mistaken his letter. Come, lords, away. Yes, sweet, put up this. We dine another day.
The princess exits along with her train.
Who is the suitor? Who is the suitor?
Shall I teach you to know?
I am my continent of beauty.
Why, she that bears the bow, finely put off.
My lady goes to kill horns. But if thou marry, hang me by the neck, if horns that yo miscarry finally put on.
Well then, I am the shooter.
And who is your dear?
If we choose by the horns, yourself come not near. Finely put on indeed.
You still wrangle with her, boy, and she strikes at the brow.
But she herself is a hit lower. Have I hit her now?
Shall I come upon thee with an old saying that was a man when King Pippin of France was a little boy, especially heated?
So I may answer thee with one as old that was a woman when Queen Guinevere of Britain was a little wench, as touching the hit it.
Thou canst not hit it, thou canst not hit it, my good man.
And I cannot. I can, and I cannot. Another can.
Rosaline and Catherine exit.
By my troth most pleasant, how both did fit it.
A marvelous well shot, for they both did hit it.
A mark. Oh, mark, but but that mark? A mark, says my lady, let the mark have a prick in it to met at, if it may be.
Wide, oh, the bow hand. I faith your hand is out.
Indeed, it must shoot nearer, or he'll ne'er hit the clout.
And if my hand be out, then belike your hand is in.
Then will she get the upshoot by cleaving the pin.
Come, come, you talk greasily, your lips grow foul.
She's too hard for you at pricks, sir. Challenge her to a bowl.
I feel too much rubbing. Good night, my Gulau.
Boyer and Maria exit.
Why, my soul, Swain, a most simple clown. Lord, Lord. The ladies and I put him down. On my troth, most sweet jests, most incanny vulgar wit. When it comes so smoothly off, so obscenely, as it were, so fit. Our motto on the one side. Oh, a most dainty man, to see him walk before a lady, and to bear her fan, to see him kiss his hand, and how most sweetly I will swear. And his page at the other side, that handful of wit. Oh, heavens, it is a most pathetical knit. Sola, sola.
A shout comes from within. Costard exits, running. We are now at Act 4, Scene 2, the same location as before. Enter Holofernes, Sir Nathaniel, and Dull.
Very reverend sport, truly, and done in the testimony of a good conscience.
The deer was, as you know, sanguis, in blood, ripe as the palm water who now hangeth in it, like a jewel in the ear of a Kylo, the sky, the welkin, the heaven, and anon falleth like a crab on the face of Terra, the soil, the land, the earth.
Truly, Master Holofernes, the epithets are sweetly varied, like a scholar at the least, but, sir, I assure ye, it was a buck of the first hit.
Sir Nathaniel Hode Credo.
'Twas not a hold credo, 'twas a pricket.
Most barbarous intimation, yet a kind of insinuation, as it were, in way, of explication, facere, as it were, replication, or rather ostentare, to show, as it were, his inclination after his undressed, unpolished, uneducated, unpruned, untrained, or rather unlettered, or ratherest unconfirmed fashion to insert against my Hode Credo for a deer.
I said the deer was not a hud credo, 'twas a pricket.
Twice sawed simplicity his coctus. Oh, thou monster ignorance, how deformed dost thou look!
Sir, he hath never fed of the dainties that are read in a book. He hath not eat paper, as it were. He hath not drunk ink. His intellect is not replenished. He is only an animal, only sensible in the duller parts. And such barren plants are set before us, that we thankful should be, which we of taste and feeling are, for those parts that do fructify in us more than he. For as it would ill become me to be vain, indiscreet, or a fool, so were there a patch set on learning to see him in a school. But omne bene, say I, being of an old father's mind, many can brook the weather that love not the wind.
You two are bookmen. You can tell me by your wit what was a month old at Cain's birth. That's not yet 5 weeks old as yet.
Dictina, good man Dull. Dictina, good man Dull.
What is dictina?
It's a title to Phoebe, to Luna, to the moon.
The moon was a month old when Adam was no more, and not to 5 weeks when he came to 50. The illusion holds in the exchange.
'Tis true indeed. The collusion holds in the exchange.
God comfort thy capacity. I say the allusion holds in the exchange.
And I say the pollution holds in the exchange, for the moon is never but a month old. And I say beside that, 'twas a pricket that the princess killed.
Sir Nathaniel, will you hear an extemporal epitaph on the death of a deer? And to humor the ignorant, I call the deer the princess killed a pricket.
Purge, good Master Holofernes, purge, so it shall please you to abrogate scurrility.
I will something affect the letter, for it argues facility. The prayful princess pierced and pricked a pretty pleasing pricket. Some say a sore, but not a sore, till now made sore with shooting. The dogs did yell, put L to sore, then sorrel jumps from thicket. Or pricket sore, or else sorrel, the people fall a hooting. If sore be sore, then L to sore makes 50 sores one sorrel. If one sore I 100 make by adding but one more L.
A rare talent.
If a talent be a claw, look how he claws him with a talent.
This is a gift that I have. Simple, simple. A foolish, extravagant spirit full of forms, figures, shapes, objects, ideas, apprehensions, motions, revolutions. These are begot in the ventricle of memory, nourished in the womb of Pia Mater, and delivered upon the mellowing of occasion. But the gift is good in those whom it is acute, and I am thankful for it.
Sir, I praise the Lord for you, and so my parishioners, for their sons are very well tutored by you, and their daughters profit very greatly under you. You're a good member of the Commonwealth.
May Hercule, if their sons be ingenious, they shall want no instruction. If their daughters be capable, I will put it to them. But vir sapit qui pauca locator. A soul feminine saluteth us.
Enter Jaconetta and Costard.
God give you morrow, Master Parson.
Master Parson, quasi person. If one should be pierced, which is the one?
Marry, Master Schoolmaster, he that is likest to a hogshead.
Piercing a hogshead, a good lustre of conceit and a tuft of earth, fire enough for a flint, pearl enough for a swine. 'Tis pretty, 'tis well.
Good Master Parson, be so good to read me this letter. It was given to me by Costard and sent me from Don Armando. I beseech you, read it.
Fauste precor gelida quando pecus omne sub umbra ruminat, and so forth. Ah, good old Mantuan, I may speak of thee as a traveller doth of Venice. Venetia, Venetia, ci non ti vede, non ti pretia. Old Mantuan, who understands thee not, loves thee not. Ut re sol lav mi fa. Under pardon, sir, what are the contents? Or rather, as Horace says in his What, my soul, verses?
Aye, sir, and very learned.
Let me hear a staff, a stanza, a verse. Lege, Domine.
If love makes me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Ah, never faith could hold, if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, to thee I'll faithful prove. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers bowed. Study his pious leaves, and make his book thine eyes, where all those pleasures live that art would comprehend. If knowledge be the mark, to know thee shall suffice. Well learned is that tongue that well can thee commend. All ignorant that soul that sees thee without wonder, which is to me some praise that I thy parts admire. Thy eye Jove's lightning bears, thy voice is dreadful thunder, which not to anger bend, is music in sweet fire. Celestial as thou art, oh, pardon, love, this wrong, that sings heaven's praise with such an earthly tongue.
You find not the apostrophos and so miss the accent. Let me supervise the canzonet. Here are only numbers ratified, but for the elegancy, facility, and golden cadence of poesy, carat. Ovidus Naso was the man, and why, indeed, Naso, but for the smelling of the odoriferous flowers of fancy, the jerks of invention. Imitari is nothing, so doth the hound his master, the ape his keeper, the tired horse his rider. But, Damosela Virgin, was this directed to you?
I, sir, from one Monsieur Byron, one of the strange queen's lords.
I will overglance the superscript. To the snow-white hand of the most beauteous Lady Rosaline. I will look again on the intellect of this letter for the nomination of the party writing to the person written unto. Your ladyships in all desired employment, Byron. Sir Nathaniel, this Byron is one of the votaries to the king, and here he hath framed a letter to a sequent of the stranger queens, which accidentally or by way of progression hath miscarried. Trip and go, my sweet. Deliver this paper into the royal hand of the king. It may concern much. Stay not thy compliment. I forgive thee thy duty. Adieu.
Good Costard, go with me. Sir, God save your life.
Have with thee, my girl.
Costard and Jaconetta exit.
Sir, you have done this in the fear of God, very religiously, and as a certain father saith.
Sir, tell me not of the father. I do fear colourable colours. But to return to the verses, did they please you, Sir Nathaniel?
Marvellous well for the pen.
I do dine today at the father's of a certain pupil of mine, where, if before repast it shall please you to gratify the table with a grace, I will, on my privilege I have with the parents of the foresaid child or pupil, undertake your benventuro, when I will prove these verses to be very unlearned, neither savouring of poetry, wit, nor invention. I beseech your society.
And thank you too, for societies of the text is the happiness of life.
And, Certes, the text most infallibly concludes it. Sir, I do invite you too. You shall not say me nay, pauca verba. Away, the gentles are at their game, and we will to our recreation.
They all leave, which brings us to Act 4, Scene 3, the same location as before. Enter Biron with a paper.
The king, he is hunting the deer. I am coursing myself. They have pitched a toil. I am toiling in a pitch that defiles. Defile! A foul word. Well, set thee down, sorrow. For so they say, the fool said, and so say I, and I the fool, well, proved wit. By the Lord, this love is as mad as Ajax. It kills sheep, it kills me. I a sheep, well proved again over my side. I will not love, if I do, hang me. I faith, I will not. Oh, but her eye, by this light, but for her eye, I would not love her, yes, for her 2 eyes. Well, I do nothing in the world but lie, and lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love, and it hath taught me to rhyme and be melancholy. And here is a part of my rhyme, and here my melancholy. Well, she hath one of my sonnets already. The clown bore it, the fool sent it, and the lady hath it. Sweet clown, sweeter fool, sweetest lady, by the love, I would not care a pin if the other 3 were in. Here comes one with a paper. God give him grace to groan.
He stands aside, and Ferdinand enters with a paper.
Me.
Shot, by heaven, proceed, sweet Cupid. Thou hast thumped him with thy bird bolt under the left pap. In faith, secrets.
So sweet a kiss. This golden sun gives not to those fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye beams, when their fresh rays have smote the night of dew that on my cheeks down flows. Nor shines the silver moon one half so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear that I do weep. No drop but as a coach doth carry thee, so ridest thou triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that dwell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not love thyself, that then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses, and still make me weep. O Queen of Queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think. nor tongue of mortal tell. How shall she know my griefs? I'll drop the paper. Sweet leaves, shade folly. Who is he comes here?
He steps aside.
What? Longueville and reading. Listen here.
Now, in thy likeness, one more fool appear?
They hide, and Longueville enters with a paper.
Ay me, I am forsworn.
Why, he comes in like a purger, wearing papers.
In love, I hope. Sweet fellowship and shame.
One drunkard loves another of the name.
Am I the first that have been perjured so?
I could put thee in company, not by two that I know. Thou makes the triumvir the corner cap of society, the shape of love's Tyburn that hangs up simplicity.
I fear these stubborn lines lack power to move. Oh, sweet Maria, empress of my love, these numbers will I tear and write in prose.
Oh, rhymes are guards on wanton's Cupid hose. Disfigure not his slop.
This same shall go. Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, 'gainst whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart to this false perjury, vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove, thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, thou a heavenly love. Thy grace being gained cures all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath a vapour is. Then thou, fair sun, which on my earth dost shine, exhalest this vapour vow. In thee it is. If broken, then it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise to lose an oath to win a paradise?
This is the liver vein, which makes flesh a deity, a green goose a goddess. Pure, pure idolatry. God amend us, God amend. We are much out of the way.
By whom shall I send this? Oh, company, stay.
He steps aside.
All hid, an old infant play, like a demigod. Here sit I, in the sky, and wretched fools secret heedfully, oh yea! More sacks to the mill. Oh heavens, I have my wish.
Dumas enters with a paper.
Duman transformed, 4 woodcocks in a dish.
Oh, most divine Kate!
Oh most profane coxcomb!
By heaven, the wonder in a mortal eye!
By earth she is not, corporal, there you lie.
Her amber hair for foul hath amber quoted,
An amber-coloured raven was well noted.
as upright as the cedar,
Stoop, I say, her shoulder is with child.
as fair as day.
Aye, as some days, but then no more sun must shine.
Oh, that I had my wish!
And I had mine.
I mine too, good lord.
Amen. So I had mine. Is not that a good word?
I would forget her, but a fever she reigns in my blood and will remembered be.
A fever in your blood? Why, then incision would let her out in saucers. Sweet Miss Prision.
Once more I'll read the ode that I have writ.
Once more I'll mark to how love can vary wit.
On a day, alack the day, love whose month is ever May, spied a blossom passing fair, playing in the wanton air. Through the velvet leaves the wind, all unseen can passage find, that the lover, sick to death, wish himself the heaven's breath. Ere, quoth he, thy cheeks might blow, ere would I might triumph so, but Alack, my hand is sworn never to pluck thee from thy thorn. Vow, alack, for youth unmeet, youth so apt to pluck a sweet. Do not call it sin in me, that I am forsworn for thee, thou for whom Jove would swear, Juno but a Ethiop were, and deny himself for love. This I will send, and something else more plain, that that shall express my true love's fasting pain. Oh, would the King Byron and Longaville were lovers too, ill to example ill, would from my forehead wipe a perjured note, for none offend, were all alike to dote.
Dumaine, thy love is far from charity. You may look pale, but I should blush. I know to be o'erheard and taken napping so.
Sir, you blush, as your case is such. You chide at him, offending twice as much. You do not love Maria. Longaville never did sonnet for her sake compile, nor never lay his wreathed arms athwart his loving bosom to keep down his heart. I have never closely shrouded in this bush, and marked you both, and for you both did blush. I heard you guilty rhymes, observed your fashion, saw sighs reek from you, noted well your passion. Ay me, says one, O Jove, the other cries. One, her hair were gold, crystals the other's eyes. You, Longville, would for paradise break faith and troth. You, Demon, and Jove for your love would infringe an oath. What will Byron say when he hear when that he shall hear faith so infringed, which such seal did swear? How will he scorn? How will he spend his wit? How will he triumph, leap, and laugh at it? How for all the wealth that ever I did see, I would not have him know so much by me.
Now step I forth to whip hypocrisy. Ah, good, my liege, I pray thee, pardon me. Good heart, what grace hast thou, thus to reprove these worms for loving, that art most in love? Your eyes do make no coaches. In your tears there is no certain princess that appears. You'll not be perjured, 'tis a hateful thing. Tush, none but minstrels, like of sonneting. But are you not ashamed, nay, are you not, all three of you, to be thus much overshot? I found his mote, the king your mote did see, but I a beam do find each of three. Oh, what a scene of foolery I have seen, of sighs, of groans, of sorrow, and of teen! Of me, with what strict patience have I sat, to see a king transformed into a gnat, to see great Hercules whipping a gig, and profound Solomon to tune a jig, and Nestor play at pushpin with the boys, and critic Timon laugh at idle toys. Where lies thy grief? Oh, tell me, good Domain, and gentle Longaville, where lies thy pain? And where my lieges, all about the breast, a caudle, ho!
Bitter is thy jest. Are we betrayed thus to thy overview?
Not you to me, but I betrayed by you. I that am honest, I that hold it in sin. To break the vow I am engaged in, I am betrayed by keeping company with men like men of inconsistency. When shall you see me write a thing in rhyme, or groan for love, or spend a minute's time in pruning me? When shall you hear that I will praise a hand, a foot, a face, an eye, a gait, a state, a brow, a breast, a waist, a leg, a limb?
Not with a way so fast, a true man or a thief that gallops so.
I post from love, good lover, let me go.
Enter Jaconetta and Costard.
God bless the king.
present hast thou there?
Some certain treason.
What makes treason here?
Nay, it makes nothing, sir.
If it mar nothing neither, the treason and you go in peace away together.
I beseech your grace, let this letter be read. Our parson misdoubts it 'twas treason, he said.
Byron, read it over.
He hands him the paper.
Where hadst thou it?
Of Costard.
Where hadst thou it?
Of, Dun Adramadio.
Byron tears up the letter.
Oh now, what is in you? Why dost thou tear it?
A toy, my liege, a toy. Your grace needs not fear it.
It did move him to passion, and therefore let's hear it.
It is Byron's writing, and here is his name.
They gather up the pieces.
Ah, you whoreson loggerhead! You were born to do me shame. Guilty, my lord, guilty. I confess, I confess.
What?
That you three fools lacked me, fool, to make up the mess. He, and you, my liege, and I, are pick passers in love, and we deserve to die. Oh, dismiss this audience, and I shall tell you more.
Now the number is even.
True, true, we are 4. Will these turtles be gone?
Sirs, away.
Walk aside the true folk and let the traitors stay.
Costard and Jacanetta leave.
Sweet lords, sweet lovers, oh let us embrace, as true we are as flesh and blood can be. The sea will ebb and flow, heaven will show his face. Young blood doth not obey an old decree. We cannot cross the cause, why we were born. Therefore, of all hands, must we be forsworn.
What? Did these rent lines show some love of thine?
Did they, quoth you, who seized the heavenly Rosaline, that were like a rude and savage man of Indy, at the first opening of the gorgeous east, bows not his vassal head, and struck and blind, kisses the base ground with obedient breast? What peremptory eagle-sighted eye dares look upon the heaven of her brow, that is not blinded by her majesty?
What seal? What fury hath inspired thee now? My love, her mistress, is a gracious moon. She an attending star, scarce seen a light.
My eyes, then no eyes, nor I, Byron. Oh, but for my love, day would turn to night. Of all complexions the cold sovereignty do meet, as at a fair in her fair cheek, where several worthies make one dignity, where nothing wants that want itself doth seek. Lend me the flourish of all gentle tongues. Fie, painted rhetoric! Oh, she needs it not. To things of sale a seller's praise belongs. She passes praise, then praise too short doth blot. A withered hermit, 50 winters worn, might shake off 50, looking in her eye. Beauty doth varnish age as if newborn, and gives the crutch the cradle's infancy. Oh, 'tis the sun that maketh all things shine.
But what of this? Are we not all in love?
Nothing so sure, and thereby all forsworn.
Then leave this chat, and good Byron, now prove our loving lawful, and our faith not torn.
Ay, marry there, some flattery for this evil.
Oh, some authority, how to proceed, some tricks, some quillets, how to cheat the devil.
Some salve for the perjury.
'Tis more than need. Have at you, then, affection's men at arms. Consider what you first did swear unto, to fast, to study, and to see no woman. Flat treason against the kingly state of youth. Say, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. and where that you have vowed to study, lords, in that each of you have forsworn his book. Can you still dream, and pore and thereon look? For when would you, my lord, or you, have found the ground of study's excellence, without the beauty of a woman's face? From woman's eyes this doctrine I derive. They are the ground, the books, the academies, from whence doth spring the Promethean fire. Why, universal plodding poisons up the nimble spirits in the arteries, and motion and long-during action tires the sinewy vigor of the traveler. Now, for not looking on a woman's face, you have in that forsworn youth of eyes. And study too the causer of your vow, for where is any author in the world teaches such beauty as a woman's eye? Learning is but an adjunct to ourself, and where our learning likewise is, do not likewise see our learning there. Oh, we have made a vow, lords, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. For when you, my liege, or you, in leaden contemplation have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutor that has enriched you with, other slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore, finding barren practisers, scarce show a harvest of their heavy toil. But love, first learned in ladies' eyes, lives not alone, immured in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as thought in every power, and gives to every power a double power. Above their functions and their offices, it adds a precious seeing to the eye. A lover's eyes will gaze on an eagle blind. A lover's ear will hear the lowest sound. When the suspicious head of theft is stopped, love's feeling is more soft and sensible than are the tender horns of the cockled snails. Love's tongue proves dainty Bacchus gross in taste. For valor, is love a Hercules still climbing trees in the Hesperides, subtle as Sphinx, as sweet and musical as bright Apollo's lute strung with his hair. And when love speaks, the voice of all gods makes heaven drowsy with the harmony. Never durst poet touch a pen to write, until his ink were tempered with love's sights. Oh, then his lines would ravish savage ears, and plant in tyrants mild humility. From women's eyes the doctrine I derive. They sparkle still, the Promethean fire. They are the books, the arts, the academies that show, that contain and nourish all the world, else none at all in aught provides excellent. Then, fools, you were these women to forswear, or keeping what is sworn, you will prove fools. For wisdom's sake, a word that all men love, or for love's sake, a word that loves all men, or for men's sake, the authors of these women, or women's sake, by whom we men are men. Let us once lose our oaths to find ourselves, or else we lose ourselves to keep our oaths. It is religion to be thus forsworn, for charity itself fulfills the law. And who can sever love from charity?
Send Cupid then, and soldiers to the field.
Advance your standards, and upon them, lords. Pell-mell down with them, but be advised, in conflict that you get the son of them.
Now to plain dealing. Lay these glozers by. Shall we resolve to woo these girls of France?
Win them too. Therefore let us devise some entertainment for them in their tents.
First from the park let us conduct them thither. Then homeward every man attach the hand of his fair mistress in the afternoon. We will with some strange pastime solace them, such as the shortness of the time can shape, for revels, dances, masks, and merry hours. Forerun fair love, strewing her way with flowers.
Away, away! No time shall be omitted. That will be time, and may by us be fitted.
Allons, allons, so cockled reap no corn, and justice always whirls in equal measure. Light wenches may provide plagues to men forsworn. If so, our copper buys no better treasure.
They leave, and we come to Act 5, Scene 1, in the same location as before. Enter Holofernes, Sir Nathaniel, and Dull.
Satis quodsuficit.
Ah, I praise God for you, sir. Your reasons at dinner have been sharp and sententious, pleasant without scurrility, witty without affection, audacious without impudency, learned without opinion, and strange without heresy. I did converse this quondam day with a companion of the king's, who is intituled, nominated, or called Don Adrenio de Amado.
Novi hominum tanquam te. His humor is lofty, his discourse peremptory, his tongue filed, his eye ambitious, his gait majestical, and his general behavior vain, ridiculous, and thrasonical. He is too picked, too spruce, too affected, too odd, as it were, too peregrinate, as I may call it.
Most singular and choice epithet.
He draws out his table book.
He draweth out the thread of his verbosity finer than the staple of his argument. I abhor such fanatical phantasms, such insociable and point device companions, such rackers of orthography, as to speak doubt, fine, when he should say doubt, debt, when it should be pronounced debt, D-E-B-T, not D-E-T. He clubbeth calf, cough, half, hoff, neighbor, vocatur, neber, nay, abbreviated ne. This is abominable, which he would call abominable. It insinuateth me of insany, ana intelligencis domine, to make frantic, lunatic.
Laus Deo bene intelligo.
Bon, fort bon, Priscian. A little scratched, 'twill serve.
Vidasne quis venit?
Video et gaudeo.
Enter Don Adriano de Armado, Moth, and Costard.
Chira!
Quare
Moth.
chira, not sirrah.
Men of peace, well encountered.
Most military, sir. Salutation.
They have been at a great feast of languages and stolen the scraps.
Oh, they have lived long on the alms basket of words. I marvel thy master has not eaten thee for a word, for thou art not so long by the head as honorifica bilitudinitatibus. Thou art easier swallowed than a flapdragon.
Peace! The peal begins.
Monsieur, are you not lettered?
Yes, he teaches boys the horn book. What is A-B spelled backward with a horn on his head?
Ba, Querita, with a horn added.
Bah! Most silly sheep with a horn. You hear he's learning.
Quis, thou continents.
The third of the 5 vowels, if you repeat them, or the fifth, if I.
I will repeat them. A, E, I.
The sheep, the other 2 concludes it. O, U.
Now by the salt wave of Mediterranean, a sweet touch, a quick venue of wit, snip, snap, quick and home. It rejoiceth my intellect, true wit.
Offered by a child to an old man, which is wit old.
What is the figure? What is the figure?
Horns.
Thou disputest like an infant. Go, whip thy gig.
Lend me your horn to make one, and I will whip about your infamy circumcirca, a gig of a cuckold's horn.
And I had but 1 penny in the world, thou shouldst have it to buy gingerbread. Hold, there is the very remuneration I had of thy master, thou halfpenny purse of wit, thou pigeon egg of discretion. Oh, and the heavens were so pleased that thou wert but my bastard. What a joyful father wouldst thou make me! Go to, thou hast it at dunghill, at the fingers' ends, as they say.
Oh, I smell false Latin. Dunghill for unguem.
Artsman, preambulate. We will be singled from the barbarous. Do you not educate youth at the charge house on the top of the mountain?
Ormonds, the hill.
At your sweet pleasure for the mountain.
I do, sans question.
Sir, it is the king's most sweet pleasure and affection to congratulate the princess at her pavilion in the posteriors of this day, which the rude multitude call the afternoon.
The posterior of the day, most generous sir, is liable, congruent and measurable for the afternoon. The world is well culled, chose, sweet and apt. I do assure you, sir, I do assure.
Sir, the king is a noble gentleman, and my familiar, I do assure thee, very good friend. For what it is inward between us, let it pass. I do beseech thee, remember thy courtesy. I beseech thee, apparel thy head, and among other important and most serious designs, and of great import indeed too. But let that pass. For I must tell thee, it will please his grace for by the world, sometime to lean upon my poor shoulder, and with his royal fingers thus dally with my excrement, my mustachio. But, sweetheart, let that pass. By the world, I recount no fable. Some special honours it pleaseth his greatness to impart to Armado, a soldier, a man of travel, that hath seen the world. But let that pass. The very all of all is, but sweetheart, I do implore secrecy, that the king would have me present the princess, sweet Chuck, with some delightful ostentation, or show, or pageant, or antique, or firework. Now, understanding that the curate and your sweet self are good at such eruptions, and sudden breaking out of mirth, as it were, I have acquainted you withal, to the end to crave your assistance.
Sir, you shall present before her the 9 worthies. Sir, as concerning some entertainment of time, some show in the posterior of the day to be rendered by our assistants, at the king's command, and this most gallant, illustrate, and learned gentleman before the princess, I say none so fit as to present the 9 worthies.
Where will you find men worthy enough to present them?
Joshua, yourself, myself, and this gallant gentleman, Judas Maccabeus. This swain, because of his great limb or joint, shall pass Pompey the Great. The page Hercules.
Pardon, sir, error. He is not quantity enough for the worthy's thumb. He is not so big as the end of his club.
Shall I have audience? He shall present Hercules in minority. His enter and exit shall be strangling a snake, and I will have an apology for that purpose.
Ooh, an excellent device. So if any of the audience hiss, you may cry, "Well done, Hercules! Now thou crushest the snake." That is the way to make an offense gracious, though few have the grace to do it.
For the rest of the worthies?
I will play 3 myself.
Thrice worthy gentlemen.
Shall I tell you a thing?
We attend.
We will have, if this fadge not, an antique. I beseech you, follow.
Good man Dull, thou hast spoke no word all this while.
Nor understood none neither, sir.
Allons, we will employ thee.
I'll make one in a dance or so, and I will play on the Tabor the worthies, and let them dance the hay.
Most dull, honest dull. To our sport. Away.
They leave. And with that, we're going to take a very quick 5-minute interval. Feel free to refresh yourselves, go to the toilet, whatever you need to do, hydrate, not dehydrate, and we will be back in about 5 minutes. Hello and welcome back to the last part of Love Slavers Lost. We left off at the beginning of Act 5, Scene 2, in the same location as the last few acts and scenes. Enter the Princess, Catherine, Rosaline, and Maria.
With that, we shall be rich and we depart. The fairings come as plentiful in. I lead thee weird about with diamonds. Look you, what I have from the loving king.
Madam, came nothing else along with that?
Nothing but this? Yes, as much love and rhyme as will be crammed up in a sheet of paper with both sides of the leaf. A sentinel, then. He was fain to seal on Cupid's name.
That was the way to make his godhead wax, for he had been 5,000 years a boy.
Aye, and a shrewd, unhappy gallows, too.
You'll never be friends with him. I killed your sister.
He made her melancholy, sad, and heavy, and so she died. Had she been light, like you, of such a merry, nimble, stirring spirit, she might have been a grandam as she died. And so may you, for a light heart lives long.
What's your dark meaning, mouse, of this light word?
Light condition in a beauty dark.
We need more light to find your meaning out.
You'll mar the light by taking it in snuff. Therefore, I'll darkly end the argument.
Look what you do. You do it still in dark.
So do not you, for you are a light wench.
Indeed, I weigh not you, and therefore light.
You weigh me not? Oh, that's you care not for me.
Great reason, for past cure is still past care.
Bandit but a set of wit well played. But Rosaline, you a favour too? Sent it? And what is it?
I would you knew, as in my face were but as fair as yours, my favour were as great. Be witness this. Nay, I have verses too. I think Byron, the numbers true. And were numbering true, I were the fairest goddess on the ground. I am compared to 20,000 fairs, or he has drawn my picture in his letter.
Anything like?
Much in the letters, nothing in the praise.
Thirsty says ink. A good conclusion.
Fair as a text be in a copybook.
Rare pencils, whore, let me not die your debtor, my red dominical, my golden letter, or that your face were not so full of O's.
A pox of that jest, and I beshrew all shrouds.
Kathleen, it was sent to you from Fedemont.
Madam, this glove.
Did he not send you to him?
Yes, madam, and moreover some 1,000 verses of a faithful lover, a huge translation of hypocrisy, vilely compiled, profound simplicity.
This and these pearls to me sent Longueville. The letter is too long by half a mile.
I think no less. Does thou not wish in heart the chain were longer and the letter short?
A or I, these hands might never part.
We are wise girls to mark our lovers so.
There are worse fools to purchase mocking so. That same Byron I'll torture ere I go. Or that I knew he were but in by the week. How I would make him fawn, and beg, and seek, and wait the season, and observe the times, and spend his prodigal wits in bootless rhymes, and shape his service wholly to my hests, and make him proud, to make me proud that jests. So pertinent, like would I o'ersay his state, that he should be my fool, and I his fate.
No, no, so surely caught. They are catched, as returned fool. Sorry, no wisdom hatched, but wisdom is haunt. And help us school, and with some grace to grace an unfool.
The blood of youth burns not with such excess, as gravity's revolt to wantonness.
folly in fools bears not so long a note as folly in the wise, when wit doth dote, since all the power thereof it doth apply to prove by wit worth in simplicity.
Here comes Boyer, and Myrtle's on his face.
Enter Boyer.
Oh, I am stabbed with laughter. Where's her grace?
Dennis Boyer?
Prepare, madame, prepare. Wench's arm encounters mounted against your peace. Love doth approach disguised, armed with arguments. You'll be surprised. Muster your wits. Stand in your own defense, or hide like heads, like cowards and flyants.
The need to St. Cupid. What are they? A charge they bring against us. A scout.
Under the cool shade of a sycamore, I sought to close mine eyes for some half an hour. When lo, to interrupt my proposed rest towards that shade I might behold at rest. The king and his companions. Warily, I stole into a neighbor's thicket by, and overheard what you shall overhear. That by and by, disguised they will be here. Their herald is a pretty knavish page, that well by arts as conned is embassage. Action and accent did they teach me there. Thus must thou speak, and thus thy body bear. And ever and anon they made it out, present, majestical put him out. For, quoth the king, an angel shalt thou see, yet fear thou not thou, but speak audaciously. The boy replied, an angel is not evil. I should have feared her had she been a devil. With that I laughed and clapped him on the shoulder, making the bold wag by their phrases bolder. One rubbed his elbow thus, and fled, and swore a better speech was never spoke before. Another, with his finger and his thumb, cried, Via! We will do it. Come what will come. The third he capered and cried, All goes well! And the fourth turned on the toe, and down he fell. With that, all did tumble on the ground with such a zealous laughter so profound, that in their spleen ridiculous appears, to check their folly, passion's solemn tears.
What? What? They to visit us.
They do. And all apparelled thus, like Muscovites or Russians. As I guess, their purpose is to parley, to court and dance, and everyone is love feet will advance. Unto is sever mistress which they'll know, by favor sever which they did bestow.
And will they so? Gallants shall be tasked. Ladies, we shall everyone be masked. Not a man of them shall have the grace, spite of suit, to see a lady's face. Old Vaseline, favour thou shalt wear, and the king will good thee for his beer. Old, take thou this, my sweet, and give me thine, so shall by one take me for Rosaline. And change your favours too, so shall your loves will contrary, with your body's remorse.
Come on then, wear the favors most in sight.
But in this changing, what is your intent?
The effect of my intent is to cross theirs. They do it but in mocking merriment, and mock for mock is my intent. Several counsels they bosom shall, so let mistook and so be mocked for tell, upon the next occasion that we meet, with which is displayed the greet.
But shall we dance if they desire to?
No, the debt we will not move a foot. No, the pen speech rendezvous no grace, and but while they spoke each turn a face away.
Why, that contempt will kill the speaker's heart, and quite divorce his memory from his part.
Therefore, do it. I make no doubt the rest will near come in. If he be out, there's no such spot as spot, but spot of throne. Make there's ours and ours number our own. So shall we stay, mocking intent again, and they, when mocked, depart away again.
Trumpets sound from within.
The trumpet sounds. We mask. The maskers come.
The ladies mask up, enter blackamoors with music. Moth and Ferdinand, Biron, Longaville, and Dumas in Russian habits, unmasked.
All hail the richest beauties on the earth.
Beauty is no richer than rich taffeta.
A holy parcel of the fairest dames that ever turned their backs to mortal bees.
Their eyes, villain, their eyes.
That ever turned their eyes to mortal views. Out!
True indeed.
Out of your favors, heavenly spirits, vouchsafe not to behold.
Once to behold, rogue.
Once to behold with your sunbeamed eyes. With your sunbeamed eyes.
They will not answer to that epithet. You will best call it daughter-beamed eyes.
They do not mark me, and that brings me out.
Is this your perfectness? Be gone, you rogue!
Moth leaves.
What would the strangers know their minds, but yet, if they do speak our language, 'tis our will that some plain men recount their purposes, know what they would.
What would you with the princess?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
What would they say they?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
Why, that they have, and bid them so begone.
She says you have it, and you may be gone.
Say to her, we have measured many miles to tread a measure with her on this grass.
They say that you have measured many a mile to tread a measure with you on this grass.
It is not so. Ask them how many inches is in 1 mile. If they have measured many, the measure then of one is easily told.
If to come hither you have measured miles, and many miles, the princess bids you tell how many inches does fill up 1 mile.
Tell her we measure them by weary steps.
She hears herself.
How many weary steps of many weary miles you have all gone, unnumbered in the travel of 1 mile.
We number nothing that we spend for you. Our duty is so rich, so infinite, that we may do it without accompt. Vouchsafe to the sunshine of your face, that we, like savages, may worship it.
My face is but a moon, and clouded too.
Blessed are clouds, to do as such clouds do. Vouchsafe, bright moon, and these thy stars to shine, those clouds removed upon our watery eyne.
O vain petitioner, beg a greater matter. Thou now requests but moonshine in the water.
Then in our measure do but vouchsafe one change. Thou bidst me beg, this begging is not strange.
Play music then. Nay, you must do it soon. Not yet. No dance. Thus change I like the moon.
Will you not dance? How come you thus estranged?
You took the moon at full, but now she's changed.
Yet still she is the moon, and I the man. The music plays. Vouchsafe some notion to it.
Our ears vouchsafe it.
But your legs should do it.
Since you're strangers and come here by chance, will not be nice. Take hands. We will not dance.
Why take we hands then?
Only to part friends. Curtsy, sweethearts, and so the measure ends.
More measure of this measure. Be not nice.
We can afford no more at such a price.
You yourself. What buys your company?
Your absence only.
That can never be.
Then cannot we be bought, and so adieu. Twice to a visa and half once to you.
You deny to dance. Let's hold more chat.
In private, then.
I am best pleased with that.
They converse apart.
White-handed mistress, one sweet word with thee.
Honey and milk and sugar, 3 is 3.
Nay then, 2 trays, and if you grow so nice, methglin, wort, and malmsey. Well run, dice. There's a half a dozen sweets.
And sweet, adieu. You can cog, après nom of you.
1 word, in secret.
Let it be not sweet.
Thou grievest my gall.
Gall!
Therefore, meat.
Will you vouchsafe with me to change a word?
Name it.
Fair lady.
Say you so, fair lord? Take that for your fair lady.
Please it you, as much in private, now bid adieu.
They also converse apart.
What? Was your vizard made without a tongue?
I know the reason, lady, why you ask.
Oh, for your reason. Quickly, sir. I long.
You have a double tongue within your mask, and would afford my speechless vizard half.
Veal, quoth the Dutchman, is not veal a calf?
A calf, fair lady.
No, a fair lord calf.
Let's part the word.
No, I'll not be your half. Take all, and wean it, it may prove an ox.
Look how you butt yourself in these sharp mocks. Will you give horns, chaste lady? Do not so.
Then die a calf before your horns do grow.
1 word in private with you ere I die.
Bleat softly then, the butcher hears you cry.
They also converse apart.
The tongues of mocking wenches are as keen as razors edged invisible, cutting as smaller airs than may be seen, above the sense of sense so sensible, who seem a circumference. Their conceits have wings fleeter than arrows, bullets, winds, thoughts, swifter things.
Not 1 word more, my mates. Break off, break off.
By heaven. By heaven, all dry beaten with pure scoff.
Well met, wenches. You have simple wits.
20 adieus, bateaux en Moscovin. These the breeze.
Ferdinand, the lords, and blackamoors leave.
These the breeze of wits, so wanderer.
Taper they are, with your sweet breasts puffed out.
Well, like in wits they have. Gross, gross, fat, fat.
Oh, poverty in wit. Kingly poor flute. They not, thank you, hang themselves tonight? However, but in visage show their faces, tilt by their own, without the countenance quite.
Oh, they were all in lamentable cases. The king was weeping ripe for a good word.
Baron did throw himself out of a soup.
Dumain was at my service, and his sword. No point, quoth I. My servant straight was mute.
Lord Longaville said, I came o'er his heart, and trow you what he called me? Yes, in good faith.
Oh, sickness out there.
Well, better wits have worn plain statue caps, but will you hear the king is my love sworn?
Quick Baron had plighted it to me.
And Longaville was for my service born.
Duman is mine, as sure as bark on tree.
Madame and pretty mistresses, give ear. Immediately they will again be here, in their own shapes, for it can never be they will digest this harsh indignity.
They return?
They will. They will, God knows. And leap for joy, though they are lame with blows, therefore change favors, and when they repair, blow like sweet roses in the summer air.
Blow. Blow. Speak to be understood.
Fair ladies mask are roses in their bud. Dismasked, the damask sweet commixture shone. Are angels veiling clouds or roses blown?
Merde. Avant, perplexity. What shall we do? They return in their own ships to who?
Good, madam, if by me you'll be advised, let's mock them still, as well known as disguised. Let us complain to them what fools were here, disguised like musketeers in shapeless gear, and wonder what they were and to what end their shallow shows and prologue wildly penned, and their rough carriage so ridiculous should be presented at our tent to us.
Ladies, withdraw. The gallants are at end.
Withdraw thence as Rose Honoreland.
The Princess, Rosaline, Catherine, and Maria exit, and Ferdinand, Biron, Longaville, and Duman re-enter in their proper habits.
Fair sir, God save you. Where's the princess?
Gone to her tent. Please it your majesty command me and any service to her thither?
That she vouchsafe me audience for one word.
I will, and so will she. I know my lord.
Boyer exits.
This fellow pecks up wit as pigeons peas, and utters it again when God doth please. He is wit's peddler, and retails his wares at wakes and wassails, meetings, markets, fairs. And we that sell by gross, the Lord doth know, hath not the grace to grace it with such show. This gallant pins the wenches on his sleeve. Had he been Adam, he had tempted Eve. I can carve too, and lisp. Why, this is he that kissed the hand away in courtesy. This is the ape of form, Monsieur the Nice, that when he plays at tables, chides the dice in honourable terms, nay, he can sing a mean most meanly, and in ushering. Mend him who can, the ladies call him sweet, the stairs as he treads on them, kiss his feet. This is the flower that smiles on every one, to show his teeth as white as whale's bone, and consciences that will not die in debt. Pay him the due of honey-tongued Boyette.
Rest on his sweet tongue with my heart that put Armado's page out of his part.
See where it comes, behaviour, what wert thou, till this madman showed thee, and what art thou now?
The princess re-enters, ushered by Boyer, Rosaline, Maria, and Catherine.
Hail, sweet madam, and fair time of day.
Yeah, in all hail is foul as I conceive.
My speech is better, if you may.
Wish me better. I will give you leave.
We came to visit you, and propose now to lead you to our court. Vouchsafe it then.
This field shall hold me, and so hold your vow. No God, no I, delights in perjured men.
Rebuke me not for that which you provoke. The virtue of your eye must break my oath.
Nickname virtue, vice you should have spoke. The virtue's office never breaks men's throat. Now, by my maiden honor, as pure as the unsullied lily, I protest. Will the torment though I should endure, I will not yield to be your house guest. So much I hate Abrickencost to be of heavenly oaths bowed with integrity.
Oh, you have lived in desolation here, unseen, unvisited, much to our shame.
Not so, my lord. It's not so, I swear. We have had pastimes here and a pleasant game. As of Russians left us both of late.
Madam, Russians?
Aye, in truth, my lord. Grim gallants full of courtship and of state.
Madam, speak true. It's not so, my lord. My lady, to the man of the days, in courtesy, gives undeserving praise. We four, indeed, confronted were the four, in Russian habit. Here they stayed an hour, and talked apace. And in that hour, my lord, they did not bless us with one happy word. I dare not call them fools, but this, I think, when they are thirsty, fools would fain have drink.
This jest is dry to me. Fair, gentle, sweet, your wit makes wise things foolish. When we greet, with eyes best seeing, heaven's fiery eye, by light we lose light, your capacity. Is of that nature that to your huge store wise things seem foolish, and rich things but poor?
This proves you're wise and rich, for in my eye.
I am a fool, and full of poverty.
But that you take what doth to you belong, it were a fault to snatch words from my tongue.
Oh, I am yours, and all that I possess.
All the fool mine.
I cannot give you less.
Which of the wizards was it that you wore?
When? When? What wizard? Why you demand this?
There, then, that wizard, that superfluous case that hid the wars and showed the better face.
We are descried. They'll mock us now downright.
A Judas?
We are decried. They'll mock us now downright.
Let us confess and turn it into a jest.
Amazed, my lord. Your Highness. Good.
Help, hold his brows, he'll swoon. Why look you pale? Seasick, I think, coming from Moscow.
Thus pour the stars down, plagues of perjury. Can any face of brass hold longer out? Here stand I, lady, dart thy skill at me, bruise me with scorn, confound me with a flout. Thy thrust thy sharp wit quite through my ignorance. Cut me to pieces with thy keen conceit, and I will wish thee never more to dance, nor never more in Russian habit wait. Oh, never will I trust to speeches penned, nor to the motion of the schoolboy's tongue, nor never come in the visit of my friend, nor woo in rhyme, like a blind harper's song, taffeta paraphrases, silken terms precise, three-piled hyperboles, spruce affectation, figures pedantical, these summer flies have blown me full of maggot ostentation. I do forswear them. And here I protest, By this white glove, how white the hand, God knows. Henceforth my wooing mind shall be expressed in russet yeas and honest kersey nose. And to begin, wench, so God help me, ah, my love is to thee as sound, sans crack or flaw.
Sons, I pray you.
Yet I have a trick of the old rage. Bear with me, I am sick. I'll leave it by degrees. Soft, let us see. Right, Lord, have mercy on us, on these three. They are infected. In their hearts it lies. They have the plague and caught it of your eyes. These lords are visited. You are not free. For the tokens, the Lord's tokens on you do I see.
Oh, the three that gave these tokens to us.
Our states are forfeit. Seek not to undo us.
It is not so, for how can this be true that you stand forfeit, being those that sue?
Peace, for I will not have to do with you.
No shall not, if I do as I intend.
Speak for yourselves, my wit's at an end.
Yes, sweet madam, for our rude transgression, some fair excuse.
The Peris's confession. Were not you here, but even now disguised?
I was.
Were you well advised?
I was, fair madam.
When you then were here, did you whisper in your lady's ear?
More than all the world did I respect her.
She shall challenge this, you will reject her?
Upon mine honor, no.
Peace. Once broke, you're forced not to forswear.
Despise me when I break this oath of mine.
Will, therefore keep it. Celine, what did the Russian whisper in your ear?
Madam, he swore that he did hold me dear as precious eyesight, and did value me above this world, adding thereto, moreover, that he would wed me, or else die my lover.
Give thee joy of him. Noble lord, most honorably doth unfold his word.
What mean you, lady? By my life, my troth, I never swore this lady such an oath.
By heaven you did, and to confirm it plain you gave me this, but take it, sir, again.
And this the princess I did give. I knew her by this jewel on her sleeve.
Then you said, jewel did she wear? Lord Byron, I thank him, is my dear. You have me, your pearl again.
Neither of either. I remit both twain. I see the trick on't. Here was a consent, knowing aforehand of our merriment, to dash it like Christmas comedy. Some carry tale, some please man, some slightly zany, some mumble news, some trencher knight, some dick, that smiles his cheeks in years, and knows the trick, to make my lady laugh when she is disposed, told our intents before, which once disclosed. The ladies did change favours, and then we, following the signs, wooed, but the sign of she. Now to our perjury to add more terror. We are again forsworn in will and error. Much upon this it is, and might not you forestall our sport to make this untrue? Do not you know my lady's foot in the squire, and laugh upon the apple in her eye, and stand her back, sir, and the fire, holding a trencher, jesting merrily? You put our page out. Go, you are allowed. Die, when you will, a smock shall be your shroud. You leer upon me, do you? There's an eye. Wounds like a leaden sword.
Fool, merrily, as this brave manage this career been run.
Lo, he is tilting straight. Peace I have done.
Costard enters.
Welcome, pure wit. Thou partest a fair fray.
Oh, Lord, sir, they would know whether the three worthies shall come in or no.
What? Are there but 3?
No, sir, but it is vara fine, for everyone presents 3.
And 3 times thrice is 9.
Not so, sir. Under correction, sir. I hope it is not so. You cannot beg us, sir. I can assure you, sir. We know what we know. I hope, sir, 3 times thrice, sir.
Is not 9.
Under correction, sir. We know where until it doth amount.
By Jove, I always took 3 threes for 9.
Oh, Lord, sir, it were pity you should get your living by reckoning, sir.
How much is it?
Oh, Lord, sir, the parties themselves, the actors, sir, will show where until it doth amount. For mine own part, I am, as they say, but to perfect one man in one poor man, Pompeion the Great, sir.
Art thou one of the worthies?
It pleased them to think me worthy of Pompeion the Great. For mine own part, I know not the degree of the worthy, but I am to stand for him.
Go, bid them prepare.
We will turn it finely off, sir. We will take some care.
He exits.
Byron, they will shame us. Let them not approach.
We are shame-proof, my lord, and 'tis some policy to have one show worse than the king and his company.
Say this shall not come.
Yeah, my good lord. Let me you know. The sports best pleased with that listen no now. Zeal strives to content, and the content dies in the zeal of that which it presents. Folk of Father makes most form and mirth when great things living perish. But
A right description of our sport, my lord.
Enter Don Adriano de Almardo.
Anointed, I implore so much expense of thy royal sweet breath as will utter a brace of words.
He converses apart with Ferdinand and delivers him a paper.
man, what?
Why ask you?
Speaks now like a man of God to me.
That is all one, my fair, sweet honey monarch. For I protest, the schoolmaster is exceeding fantastical, too vain. Too vain. But we will put it, as they say, to fortuna della guerra. I wish you the peace of mind, most royal couplement.
He exits.
Here is like to have a good presence of worthies. He presents Hector of Troy, the swain Pompey the Great, the parish curate Alexander, Amado's page Hercules, the pedant Judas Macaberus, and if these 4 worthies in their first show thrive, these 4 will change habits and present the other 5.
There is 5 in the first show.
You are deceived, 'tis not so.
The pedant, the braggart, the hedge priest, the fool, and the boy. Abate throw it novum, and the whole world again cannot pick out 5 such. Take each one in his vein.
It's on sale, and here she comes the main.
Costard re-enters for Pompey.
I, Pompey, am.
You lie. You are naughty.
I, Pompey, am.
With Libard's head on knee.
Well said, old mocker. I must needs be friends with thee.
I, Pompey, am. Pompey, surnamed the Big.
The Great.
It is great, sir. Pompey, surnamed the Great, that oft in field with targ and shield did make my foe to sweat. And travelling along this coast, I here am come by chance. to lay my arms before the legs of this sweet lass of France. If your ladyship would say, thanks, Pompey, I had done.
Thanks, Mr. Pompey.
Oh, 'tis not so much worth, but I hope I was perfect. I made a little fault in great.
My hat to a halfpenny. Pompey proves the best worthy.
Sir Nathaniel enters for Alexander.
Oh, when in the world I lived, I was the world's commander. By east, west, north, and south, I spread my conquering might. My scutcheon plain declares that I am Alexander.
Your nose says no. You are not, for it stands to right.
Your nose smells no in this most tender smelling night.
The conqueror is dismayed. Proceed, good Alexander.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander.
Most true, 'tis right. You were also Alexander.
Pompey the Great.
Your servant and custard.
Take away the conqueror, take away Alexander.
Oh, sir, you have overthrown Alexander the Conqueror. You will be scraped out of the painted cloth for this. Your lion that holds his poleaxe sitting on a close stool will be given to Ajax. He will be the ninth worthy. A conqueror and afeard to speak. Run away for shame, Alexander.
Sir Nathaniel retires.
There, and shall please you. A foolish, mild man, an honest man, look you, and soon dashed. He is a marvellous good neighbour, faith, and a very good bowler. But for Alexander, alas, you see how 'tis, a little o'er-parted. But there are worthies a-coming will speak their mind in some other sort.
Enter Holofernes for Judas and Moth for Hercules.
Great Hercules is presented by this imp, whose club killed Cerberus, that three-headed Canis, and when he was a babe, a child, a shrimp, thus he did strangle serpents in his manus. Quoniam he seemeth in minority, ergo I come with his apology. Keep some state in thy exit and vanish.
Moth leaves.
Judas I am.
A Judas?
Not Iscariot, sir. Judas I am, a clipped Maccabeus.
Judas Maccabeus clipped is plain Judas.
A kissing traitor, how art thou proved Judas?
Judas I am.
The more shame for you, Judas.
What mean you, sir?
To make Judas hang himself.
Begin, sir. You are my elder.
Well followed. Judas was hanged on an elder.
I will not be put out of countenance.
Because thou hast no face.
What is this?
A citron head.
The head of a bodkin.
A death's face in a ring.
The face of an old Roman coin, scarce seen.
The pommel of Caesar's falchion.
The carved bone face on a flask.
St. George's half cheek in a brook.
Ah, the brooch of lead.
And worn in the cap of a tooth drawer. And now forward, for we have put thee in countenance.
You have put me out of countenance.
False. We have given thee faces.
But you have outfaced them all.
And thou wert a lion. We would do so.
Therefore, as he is an ass, let him go. And so adieu, sweet Jude. Nay, why dost thou stay?
For the latter end of his name.
For the ass to the Jude, give it him. Jude ass away.
This is not generous, not gentle, not humble.
A light for Monsieur Jude ass, it grows dark He may stumble. Tadie.
Holofernes retires.
Alas, poor Maccabeus, how hath he been betrayed?
Don Adriano de Armado enters for Hector.
Hide thy head, Achilles. Here comes Hector in arms.
Though my mocks come home by me, I will now be merry.
What but a Brian in respect of this?
But is this Hector?
I think Hector was not so clean-timbered.
His leg is too big for Hector's.
Or calf, certain.
No, he is best endued in this small.
This cannot be Hector.
He's a god or a painter, for he makes faces.
Ahem. The armipotent Mars of lances the Almighty gave Hector a gift.
A gilt nutmeg?
A lemon?
Stuck with cloves.
No, cloven.
Peace. Ahem. The armipotent Mars of lances the Almighty gave Hector a gift, the heir of Ilion, a man so breathed that he would fight. Ye from morn till night out of his pavilion, I am that flower.
That mint.
That columbine.
Sweet Lord Longavale, rein thy tongue.
I must rather give it the rein, for it runs against Hector.
Hey, and Hector's a greyhound.
The sweet wall man is dead and rotten. Sweet shucks, beat not the bones of the buried. When he breathed, he was a man. But I will forward with my device. Sweet royalty, bestow on me the sense of hearing.
Speak, Hector. We are much delighted.
I do adore thy sweet grace's slipper.
Doves are by her foot.
And he may not buy the yard.
This Hector, far surmounted Hannibal.
The party is gone, fellow Hector. She is gone. She is 2 months on her way.
What meanest thou?
Faith, unless you play the honest Troyan, the poor wench is cast away. She's quick. The child brags in her belly already. 'Tis yours.
Dost thou infamize me among potentates? Thou shalt die.
Then shall Hector be whipped for Jaconetta that is quick by him, and hanged for Pompey that is dead by him.
Most rare Pompey.
Renowned Pompey.
Greater than great Pompey. Pompey the Huge.
Hector trembles.
Pompey is moved. More attes, more attes. Stir them on, stir them on.
Hector will challenge him.
Hey, if I have no man's blood in's belly, then will supper flee.
By the North Pole, I do challenge thee.
I will not fight with a pole like a northern man. I'll slash. I'll do it by the sword. I bepray you, let me borrow my arms again.
Room for the incensed worthies.
I'll do it in my shirt.
Most resolute Pompey.
Master, let me take you a buttonhole lower. Do you not see Pompey's uncasing for the combat? What mean you? You'll lose your reputation.
Gentlemen and soldiers, pardon me. I will not combat in my shirt.
You may not deny it. Pompey hath made the challenge.
Sweet bloods, I both may and will.
What reason have thou fought?
The naked truth of it is, I have no shirt. I go woolward for penance.
Cool. And it was enjoined him in the home for want of linen. Since when? I'll be sworn he wore none, but a dishclout of jaquenettas, and that a whale's next his art for favour.
Enter Mercade.
God save you, madam.
Welcome, Mercade. That thou interruptst our merriment.
I am sorry, madam, for the news I bring is heavy in my tongue. The king, your father,
Ed, oh, for my life!
even so, my tale is told.
Worthies, away! The scene begins to cloud.
For mine own part, I breathe free breath. I have seen the day of wrong through the little hole of discretion, and I will right myself, like a soldier.
The worthies leave.
Your Majesty.
Yeah? Fair. We're away tonight.
Madam, not so. I do beseech you, stay.
Prepare, I say. Thank you, gracious lords, for all your fair endeavours, and entreat the new sad soul that you vouchsafe in your rich wisdom, excuse or hide the liberal opposition of our spirits, if ever boldly we have borne ourselves in the compass of death. Your gentleness was guilty of it. Farewell, worthy lord. Heavy heart bears not a nimble tongue. Excuse me so, coming too short of thanks, a great suit so easily obtained.
The extreme parts of time extremely forms, all causes to the purpose of his speed, and often at his very loose decides that which long process could not arbitrate. And though the morning brow of progeny forbid the smiling courtesy of love, the holy suit which fade in it would convince. Yet since love's argument was first on foot, let not the cloud of sorrow desolate from what it purposed, since to wail friends lost is not by much so wholesome profitable as to rejoice at friends but newly found.
uh, honest plain words pierce the ear of grief, and by these badges understand the king. For your fair sakes have we neglected time, played foul play with our oaths. Your beauty, ladies, hath much deformed us, fashioning of our humours, even to the opposed end of our intents. And what in us hath seemed ridiculous, as love is full of unbefitting strains, all wanton as a child, skip and vain, formed by the eye, and therefore, like the eye, full of strange shapes, of habits, of forms, varying in subjects, as the eye doth roll, to every varied object in his glance, which particoated presence of loose love, put on us in your heavenly eyes, have misbecomed of our oath and gravities. These heavenly eyes that look into faults suggested us to make. Therefore, ladies, our love being yours, the error that love makes likewise is yours. We want ourselves to prove false. By being for once false, forever to be true, to those make us both fair ladies, you, and even that falsehood in itself is a sin, thus purifies itself and turns to grace.
I received your letters full of love, your favours, the ambassadors of love, and our maiden council, to them at courtship, pleasant jest, and courtesy, as one must send, as dining in the time. But more devout than this in our respects have we not been. Therefore, met your loves in their own fashion, like a merriment.
Our letters, madam, showed much more than jest.
So did our looks.
We did not quote them, so.
Now, at the latest minute of the hour, grant us your loves.
A time, methinks, too short to make a word without an end bargain. No, no, my lord. Your grace is but your much, full of dear guiltiness and guiltiness. Full of dear guiltiness, therefore this. For my love, as there is no such cause, you will do what shall you do for me? What I will not trust. God speed us some for long and naked hermitage, remote from the places of the world. Este, until the celestial signs have brought up an era of reckoning, the sustained sociable life, change not your often made in heat of blood. Frost and fast, hard lusting and thin winds, nip not the gaudy blossoms of your love, that it bear this trial and last love, that at the expiration of the year, challenge me. Challenge me by these deserts, and by this calm. Now kissing thine, I will be thine. Till that instant shut, the wolf herself up the morning house, meaning the tears of lamentation for the romance of my father's death. It is thou to deny that thou hadst part, that entitled, yet as heart.
This, or more than this, I would deny, to flatter up these powers of mine with rest. The sudden hand of death close up mine eye. Hence ever then my heart is in thy breast.
And what to me, my love? What to me?
You must be purged too, your sins are racked. You are attainted with faults and perjury. Therefore, if you my favour mean to get, a 12 months shall you spend, and never rest, but seek the weary beds of people sick.
But what to me, my love? But what to me? A wife?
A beard, fair health, and honesty. With threefold love, I wish you all these three.
Oh, shall I say I thank you, gentle wife?
Not so, my lord. A 12 month and a day I'll mark no words that smooth-faced wooers say. Come, when the king doth to my lady come, then, if I have much love, I'll give you some.
I'll serve thee true and faithfully till then.
Yet swear not, lest ye be forsworn again.
What says Maria?
At the 12th month's end, I'll change my black gown for a faithful friend.
I'll stay with patience, but the time is long.
The like are you, few taller are so young.
Studies, my lady. Mistress, look on me. Behold the window of my heart, mine eye. What humble suit attends thy answer there? Impose some service on me for thy love.
Oft have I heard of you, my lord Byron, before I saw you, and the world's large tongue proclaims you for a man replete with mocks, full of comparisons and wounding flouts, which you on all estates will execute that lie within the mercy of your wit. To wit this wormwood from your fruitful brain, and therewithal to win me, if you please, without the which I am not to be won. You shall this 12 months turn from day to day, visit the speechless sick, and still converse with groaning wretches, and your task shall be, with all the fierce endeavour of your wit, to enforce the pain impotent to smile.
To move wild laughter in the throat of death? It cannot be. It is impossible. Mirth cannot move a soul in agony.
Why, that's the way to choke a gibbon spirit, whose influence is begot of that loose grace which shallow laughing hearers give to fools. A jest's prosperity lies in the ear of him that hears it, never in the tongue of him that makes it. Then, if sickly ears, deaf with the clamours of their own dear groans, will hear your idle scorns, continue then, and I will have you and that fault withal. But if they will not, throw away that spirit, and I shall find you empty of that fault, right joyful of your reformation.
A 12-month? Well, befall what will befall, I'll jest a 12-month in an hospital.
Aye, sweet my lord. So I take my leave.
No, madam. We will bring you on your way.
Our wooing doth not end like an old play. Jack hath not Jill, these ladies' courtesy might well have made our sport a comedy.
It wants a 12-month and a day. And then 'twill end.
That's too long for a play.
Don Adriano de Armado re-enters.
Sweet Majesty, vouchsafe me.
Hector?
The worthy knight of Troy.
I will kiss thy royal finger and take leave. I am a votary. I have vowed to Jacquinetta to hold the plough for her sweet love 3 years. But, most esteemed greatness, will you hear the dialogue that the 2 learned men have compiled in praise of the owl and the cuckoo? It should have followed in the end of our show.
Forth quickly, we will do so.
Holla, approach!
Holofernes, Sir Nathaniel, Moth, Costard, and the others all re-enter.
This side is Heims, winter. This, the spring. The one maintained by the owl, the other the cuckoo. Begin.
The song.
When daisies pied and violets blew, and ladies' smocks all silver white, and cuckoo buds of yellow hue do paint the meadows with delight. The cuckoo then on every tree mocks married men, for thus sings he: Cuckoo, cuckoo, oh word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. When shepherds pipe on oaten straws, and merry larks are ploughmen's clocks, when turtles tread, and rooks and daws, and maidens bleach their summer smocks, the cuckoo then on every tree mocks married men, for thus sings he: Cuckoo, cuckoo, oh word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. When icicles hang by the wall, and Dick the shepherd blows his nail, and Tom bears logs into the hall, and milk comes frozen home in pail. When blood is nipped and ways be foul, then nightly sings the staring owl, to wit, to woo a merry note, while greasy Joan doth stir the pot. When all aloud the wind doth blow, and coughing drowns the parson's saws, and birds sit brooding in the snow, and Marian's nose looks red and raw. When roasted crabs hiss in the bowl, then nightly sings the staring owl, to wit, to woo a merry note, while greasy Joan doth keel the pot.
The words of Mercury are harsh after the songs of Apollo. You that way, we this way.
And with that, they leave, and thus concludes our performance of Love's Labour's Lost. Now over to Akane.
Yes. Thank you all so much, and thank RJ especially. This wonderful, wonderful Owl and Cuckoo rendition.
That was so good.
That was wonderful.
Amazing.
I nearly cried. I nearly started sobbing, I'm not gonna lie.
I feel that. I feel that. God. Yeah. So thank you all so much for coming, and thank you all so much for participating. We're going to quickly go down the cast list, let everyone have a turn to say who they are, what they played, and plug something if they so choose. So just going down the stream list here, starting with Sarah.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Sarah. I played Lord Byron. I'd like to give a very quick shout out to myself for being able to talk for however many minutes straight that was.
80
My
line
water
speech.
bottle has been refilled no less than 3 times since the start of the stream. So, anyway, for those of you who will remember last time, I gave a quick plug to polar bears at the end of the last stream. And I want to say that as a development from that point onwards, I found out that polar bears, right? I didn't know this. There's a crossbreed of polar bears with grizzly bears, and it doesn't really have a name. It's been given a bunch of like terrible hybrid nicknames where you like push the two against each other, like Growler Bear, Polar Grizz, Polizizzle, Pizzly Bear, Grizzlar. Anyway, so check
Pizzly
that
Bear.
out. So yeah, I've been Sarah, and in many ways, I still am.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Now we move on to Haim.
Yes, I am Haim. I played Princess of Hearts. I was the one sighing all the time. And if there's one thing I would like for you to take away from this performance is and ain't shit. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The best French accent in the entire play.
Yep.
Next up, we have Cillian.
Hi, I played King Ferdinand of Navarre. And yeah, I sure got. We sure got bamboozled by a bunch of ladies. It was lovely. And yeah, that was fun. You can find me over on Vanaheim Games, where I stream every Monday and Wednesday. Actually starting at exactly this hour, so I don't have to actually translate that time zones. European Standard Time, 9 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays over on Vanaheim Games, and you can also find us on Twitter there. And I guess that's my plug. Next.
Next up is Casper.
Hi. I played Boylan. And besides that, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Totally forgot I was supposed to do this today, but it's fine. We're here. We made it work. We made it work. And if you want to see tons of kitty pictures, she now has her own Instagram account. So Matrix Toronto, you can go find her and you can go see my wonderful Chimera cat because I love her to bits.
Thank you so much, Casper. And now we move on to Dasha. That is quite alright. So Dasha.
Yes, hello. I played Rosaline, and I don't know what to say at these things. I want to thank William Shakespeare for shout out to Russians, I guess, and to cancel him for everything else in this play. Don't forget your meds and hydrate. Peace out.
An extremely important message. So now our very own Armado. Give it up for Sarah.
Hello. I played Don Adriano Diamado, which was some of the most fun I've had in a while. I'd like to thank everyone, as usual, for being awesome to act with and doing wonderful performances. I've come to expect it by now, but I still want to thank everybody. And also, one thing to plug is that hopefully next Sunday we will be doing an unofficial version of Winter's Tale, unofficial to Croakspeare, not sort of generally unofficial. Though I guess it is unofficial. No one said that we can do this, but we're doing it anyway. But look out for that. I hope to see some of you there. And yeah, thanks very much.
And now we've got Cheesable.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Cheesable. I got to play the one, the only clown Costard who doesn't know what 3 times 3 equals, but definitely knows that it's not 9. Yeah, I mean, absolute blast as usual. Just so glad to be here with everyone. And yeah, just give a solid trans rights for everybody out there.
Trans rights.
Trans
Trans rights.
rights.
Trans rights.
Right.
Hell yeah. Next up is Alen, who had to leave us just at the end of Act 5. He is a little bit under the weather. He did incredibly, incredibly well as Moth. So big
Moth is so
cheers
good.
and get well soon wishes to Alen, everyone.
Hell yeah.
So after
Yeah.
Alen,
Woo!
we move on to Lee.
Hello, I'm Lee. I just waved at my computer screen, even though no one can see me. Yeah. Uh, I don't think I have anything to plug, and I don't really have anything to say that hasn't been said already, like trans rights. Always. Oh, eat some food if you haven't eaten recently. Yeah, that'll probably help. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, eat and hydrate. Very important messages. Now, of course, we move on to our very own RJ.
Hi,
Hell yeah.
I'm RJ. I played Holofernes and I sung that song at the end. I learned that song a decade ago and I'm impressed with myself that I remember it. I had a lot of fun. I don't really have anything to shout out. Thank you for having me.
Always.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And now it's me. Hi everyone. I'm Akane. I played Catherine, who I was extra happy to play sort of last minute because Inami Anju, my favorite actress in the world, just last year played her in a musical adaptation of Love Slavers Lost, so my musical dork heart has really been cheering the entire playthrough. So thank you all so much for the play. And as is customary, I'm plugging at JellicleBot on Twitter, for those of you who haven't heard about it yet.
Yes.
I'll drop a link in the Twitch chat. It is a silly little Twitter bot that grabs you a fresh AI-generated Jellicle cat name every 3 hours. Some recent classics include Thanks the Retirement Cat, Girlfriend the Eventful Cat, and Customer the Time-Honored Cat. So all of this and more can be yours if you follow at JellicleBot on Twitter. That was everything, I think. Thank you all so much for listening and having some patience with the technical difficulties at the start. And that brings us to Not a Vampire.
Hello, I'm not a vampire. Played Maria and Jack Vendetta. The only thing I have to plug, I guess, is find me on YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel called Not Vampire where I talk about gender stuff, sexuality stuff, and then also Degrassi and, musical stuff. So yeah, if that sounds fun, come say hi.
Hell yeah! Now on to our very own Weak Bosun.
Oh, yes. I played our boy Longerville, just one of the lads, and a couple of other guys who I was delighted to get the opportunity to give silly voices, the Forester and First Lord. yeah, as always, it's just so much fun. So many talented people. It's a real good vibe here at Croakspeare, and I'm so happy to share it with everyone. Nothing to plug, just thank you everyone who participated and helped organize and who watched.
And finally on the cast list, our very own, not the character Moth, but actor Moth.
Yeah, hey, I'm Moth. I played two of the minor characters, and I got the messenger, like the guy who's the messenger of death, which is always the most important role. And I guess my other message is reject heteronormativity. Yeah, that's it.
Fuck yes.
Very, very fair, always. And finally, last but certainly not least, our tireless narrator, Ellie.
Hi. So, normally you'd see me doing an actual character role, but this time I thought, why not spice it up and be the narrator? Which was actually pretty fun, apart from the fact that my phone decided it was going to hate me, like, near the end, so I had to very quickly swap over to my laptop where I'm now saying this from. Don't really have much to plug, but I occasionally stream some games on my own Twitch, which you've seen me commenting on throughout the evening. And I have an Instagram channel of the same, or an Instagram profile of the same name if you want to follow that. What else? Trans rights, Black Lives Matter.
Hell yes.
Trans lives matter. As do Black lives. So.
Also, hydrate, not dehydrate.
And hydrate. Yep. It is high time for that. We've just gotten through a proper play. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and to the entire cast for showing up and being wonderful, as always. Make sure, as always, to follow the Twitch channel and Croakspeare's Twitter as well. There are links just under the stream here. To keep updated on all our new official and unofficial plays and events. And as Sarah mentioned, stay tuned next Sunday for potential Winter's Tale. That is all for Love's Labour's Lost. Thank you all so much. This has been a Croakspeare Theatre Company production.